Make sure this is working. All right. Nice. We're good. We're good to go. We're live. Hey, how's it going? I'm Joe McCall, and I am putting this out there. Oh, it's not working. Oh, it is what it is. All right. Anyway, listen, today is Land Flipping Masterclass 101, and I did this class. This is the second week that I've done this. Last week, I did a class on pricing your deals. This week, I'm going to be talking all about due diligence. Due diligence. Let me move these things around here to make sure. All right, that's not going to work. I'll cancel that. And I did something pretty cool last week. I want to share my screen with you guys. Where I, you see my screen here? I asked all of y'all, everybody on my list, hey, what are some of the biggest struggles and problems and challenges that you're having? And I gave you a survey and I said, give me the top 4. And I thought I'm going to do a masterclass answering every week on Wednesday evenings, which I normally never do live. All right. So this is something new for me where every week, at least for a little while, okay, I'm going to be going live and answering these questions and these problems that you're having. And so there were actually not 4, but 5. So 2 of them tied. The first one that I did last week was pricing and offers, how to determine appropriate offer prices for vacant land deals. If you want to see the replays, go to my YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, do a search for Joe McCall, and you can find this call and previous ones that I did. Okay, so last week's will be on my YouTube channel. And by the way, if you're not on my YouTube channel, if you're not subscribed to my new YouTube channel, do you hate money? What's going on here, right? You need to go to my YouTube channel, subscribe. I'm always constantly putting out new content, and it's getting better and better and better, which is a great place to go to get replays of things like this. And just check out my other good stuff. I really do appreciate the going to my channel, subscribing, give me a thumbs up, liking the videos, commenting on the videos. Let me know that you're out there watching, listening to this right now. I'd really, really appreciate it. I want to grow my YouTube channel, get it out there, build a bigger audience, and help more people, which is kind of what this is all about for me. All right. So number 1 was pricing your offers. And so last week I talked a lot about that. The second big thing you guys want help with, which is what we're going to be talking about today, is deal analysis and due diligence. Getting help analyzing specific deals. How do you analyze deals in the first place? What do you look for? How do you determine if a property is worth pursuing? What are the things that you look for specifically? And then tied for third, so there's 2 for 3. One of them was marketing and mailing. How does your direct mail, what kind of marketing do you do? Do you send letters or postcards? How frequently do you mail? How do you determine the list? How do you get the list? Do you send blind offers or neutral offers? We'll be covering that next week. And then the next thing that was tied was funding. How do you fund your deals? How do you work with private lenders? How do you find private lenders? Can I use your private lenders, Joe? How do you manage your cash flow, especially for those just starting out? And then 4th or 5th, so we're going to do 5 of these now, was market selection. How do you choose the right counties and markets to target? What criteria do you use? How do you analyze the markets and all of that? So are we all on the same page? Is that stuff you guys want to hear me talk about that is going to be helpful for you? Type in the chat. Let me know. Yes. Are we all good? Do you like it? While you're doing that, I'm just going to go into the YouTubes here and make sure that I am there right now. Because if not, I don't know what I can do about it. But I'll just feel a little better. Hot diggity dog, there I am. Look at that. I'll show you. I'll prove it to you. Look at that guy. All right, so let me know in the comments, because the cool thing now with this, the way I've got it set up, is like Rocky's here from YouTube. Look at this. When buying land without a title company, how does that work? Do we pay them after the deed is transferred? How do we get a deed? That'll be something I'll talk about soon. All right, let me get this thing up there. Okay, now I can see that. Good, you guys are here. What's up, everybody? I like the thumbs up. I like the interaction. All good. Pan to the second camera. a little while. LOL. All right. Let's see, where are we at here? Good. Back to live mode. All right, good. As people are coming into Zoom here, I'm going to be letting you all in. I want you to type in your questions. Give me your questions. Give me your feedback. Let me know, if I need to clarify something as we go back, that'll be cool. All right, one more quick announcement. Real quick, coming up in about 4 weeks at the end of August, I'm doing a live 2-day workshop. Tickets are only $500. Tickets are $500, and you get access to me and Brent Bowers and Ray Jong. I just interviewed him yesterday. This guy is a beast. They're both beasts. So they're going to get 3 beasts doing a bunch of land deals. And day 1, we're going to be teaching, and day 2, we're going to be doing. Tickets are only $500. And it's going to be at Busch Stadium. And at Busch Stadium, we are going to be just doing deals and then going to watch the Cardinals baseball game. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have a private suite. Not sure yet if tickets are going to be extra or not. If you buy the tickets and they're not extra, then we'll just refund your money. But we've only got room for 50 people, 50. We sold the last workshop out in a few days. And so we just opened the doors for this. It's going to be intense. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you're going to actually learn by doing, okay? And if you want more information on the workshop, go right here, right now, dodealsworkshop.com, dodealsworkshop.com. Tickets are $500. We're only letting 50 people in. Day 1 is teaching. Day 2 is doing. And we're going to give you leads to actually make offers on them. So check that out. It's going to be great. It's going to be epic. And I can't wait to do it and to see it. We're going to fill it out. So please come. One more thing too, as I dive into this mind map here, I'm going to be going through how do you analyze deals and going through some of the tools that I'm using and all of that. If it's all right with you, I'm going to be at the end of this class. This class will be about an hour long. And I'm going to go, again, I'm going to teach you how to do due diligence on deals and how to analyze deals, the tools that I use and what I look for and how do I look for that stuff? How do I find all this stuff out? I'm going to be giving you free resources. I need to get rid of the comments there. All right. I'm going to be giving you free resources, paid resources, a lot of cool stuff, and show you how to do this stuff, a lot of it for free. At the end of this class, if you're interested, stick around because I'm going to be talking about how you can work with me one-on-one as an apprentice. I want to do more deals, and I just finished like an hour ago wrapping up the design of this new apprentice program where I'm just going to give you, I figured, what's the fastest way to do deals? I could teach you how to do deals. I could coach you and help you and hold your hand, or I could just do it for you. And so I'm creating an apprentice program. It's not coaching. It's not mentoring. But I'm going to give you leads. Over 90 days, I'm going to give you 90 motivated seller leads. I'm going to just set up all the systems, do all the marketing for you, give you all the money you need to buy the deals. You will need to invest something in it. So put your wallet away, okay? You can't sign up today even if you wanted to, okay? So don't stress out about some high-pressure sales pitch. I'm just going to talk about that at the end of this class. If you're interested, stick around. I'm just only going to be taking 3 people. And it's going to be working very, very closely with me, having regular calls with me, and I'm going to be setting up your stuff for you and just giving you leads, and then we'll be partnering on the deals together. So again, you can't sign up today even if you wanted to. So put your wallets away. Don't worry about a high pressure sales pitch. Stick around to the end and we'll talk all about it. Okay. So now let's talk about due diligence. The big question is, how do you analyze your deals? How do you look at deals? How do you analyze them? What are the, what's the due diligence that you do? Okay. So there's a few tools that I use. One of the first ones that I recommend you check out is a website called Regrid, Regrid. This is a tool that is only $50,000 a year. I'm just kidding. No, it's not. It's not $50,000 a year. There's a starter thing that's $0, and Regrid Pro, which is what I have, which is $100 a year or $10 a month. So you can search for properties, filter for properties, visualize them, measure distances, export data from this. Yeah. You can do this starter, just try it out for free, but there'll be things that you want to get that it will be locked behind a little button. And so I use Regrid a lot, okay? The other big tool I use a lot that I actually prefer is Land ID, or if you go to id.land. id.land costs, I use this one, $667 a month. It includes private property info, bunch of map layers, property boundaries, 3D mapping, save waypoints. I have no idea what that is. You get to share maps. You know what? I might be on this version because we use, when we advertise our properties, sometimes we'll embed a map onto the listing page. And so that is something that we use sometimes, but you just need the $667 per month. It's billed annually. So that's, what is that? 6.67 times 12. Oh, you know what? It's $80 a year. Land ID is actually cheaper than Regrid. Well, there you go. All right, so check out Land ID. But I'm going to show you some examples here as we go through this. In fact, if you have an example deal that you want me to look at, type it in the chat, would you? And I will, I'll check it out. The date of that workshop, by the way, Pamela, August 26th, 27th. But go to dodealsworkshop.com to see it. dodealsworkshop.com to check it out. Because I explain the dates and the times and all that on there. I didn't realize till just now that Land ID was cheaper than Regrid. I've been telling everybody Regrid's cheaper, but I'll walk through that. All right, another big tool that I use that I love is Redfin. Use Redfin a lot. You should too. And another one, of course, is Zillow, Zillow.com. And another one that I use a lot is the county website, whatever county you're in. So I'm just going to go to, the Cardinals are playing the Padres. Chew. Okay, let's, Jackson County, North Carolina. And I'm going to do assessor's office, just assessor. And so every county, 99% of them, have websites where you can get information from the county records. And I don't think I've ever been on this website before. It just came to me. I just thought about it. But you can actually pull up data and get information on properties. I don't know what that is. For free. Real property. Somewhere on here you can get more information. Oh, map viewer. Maybe that's it. So like every county has what sometimes I just Googled Jackson County GIS mapping. And you just have to go through it. Everyone is different, but you can search by owner, address, or PIN or parcel ID. You'll get the property and it gives you a bunch of information about the property. Another tool that I like to use a lot is if you just Google flood maps, just Google flood maps. FEMA.gov has a lot of websites that you can go to check out flood maps. But again, I just use somewhere in here, there's free tools. And I don't even know where it is. But it's on this website somewhere, FEMA.gov. Okay. Let me move this over a little bit so I can see your comments. All right. Another tool that I like to use that is premium is Priced. Prycd. Now this is definitely more pricey, hence the name Priced. And if you subscribe, you can get comp reports. Now, depending on the level you're at, these comp reports are very, very valuable. But if you're at the $49.99 a month level, they give you, well, if you're at the $500 a year mark, you get 20 free comp reports a month. So anyway, if you're an Inner Circle member, by the way, we give you these comp reports for free if you're an Inner Circle member. Now, the cool thing about Price that I like about it is you can put in a property APN number by, the county and then the APN number, and it'll give you like a 12-page report on all of the data on that property from sold comps, active comps, the realtors who have sold property nearby there. And also it'll give you things like the slope data, which is really cool because it tells you what percent of the parcel is buildable. What percent is between this slope and this slope, and what percent is flat, what percent is 15% slope, what percent is 30% slope or whatever. So it does a really cool job. And then it gives you a table, based on what they feel like the property's worth. And they give you 3 different calculations for how they evaluate the property. And then they have a table for like 100% to 0%. And usually I'm making an offer at 35 or 40%. So tools like Price, which give you values, because there's not like a Zestimate for vacant land, but tools like Price get you a pretty good head start on that. All right. So those are some of the tools that I use a lot. Regrid is good. Land ID is better. I just found out. I like Land ID. I'll be showing you kind of how I'm using it on this class here. You get a lot of good data right from Redfin. Sometimes I probably spend 75% of my due diligence time on Redfin, okay? Because I just get I'm looking for what are similar properties currently selling for, what have similar properties recently sold for. I'm also looking at other properties that are listed in that area, and I'm looking at the descriptions of those properties. Does it explain what kind of HOAs there are? What are the HOA dues, like homeowners association dues? I'm looking to see, is there septic requirements, the water wells, and things like that. Okay. So there's a lot of different things that I look at in Redfin. Zillow is really cool. Sometimes I look at both Redfin and Zillow, and the reason why is Zillow, you can go out and see properties that are currently listed and properties that used to be listed. Where Redfin doesn't give you old pictures, Zillow does. And so Zillow gives you more information on properties that were maybe sold 2 years ago. You can go through and see all the pictures. And so if I'm looking at it and see a similar property currently listed that was listed for sale, maybe it expired, maybe it canceled, but there's a lot of good pictures in there. I can see what the area is like, how hilly it is. I can see, are there other houses? What are those houses selling for? Also, for due diligence, one of the best resources for Redfin and Zillow is to see who are the realtors. This is so important. I want you to listen to me here. One of the best reasons to use Redfin is you can see who are the realtors that have sold property recently, who are listing property now, who have brought buyers to properties, vacant lots that have sold. And then some of your best due diligence is going to be done, I know you're not going to like this, but by calling realtors. Just calling them, talking to them. Hey, I see you sold some property here recently. Can you tell me about the area? You talk to the realtor, tell them who you are, what you're trying to do, tell them how much commission you're going to pay them and all of that. Show them a bunch of love. And then a lot of them will actually go to the property and look at it for you. That's the best due diligence. And I will say this too, this is important to understand. When it comes to due diligence, sometimes you have no idea what it's worth or whether it's marketable or whether you'll be able to sell it or not. And you won't know until you put it out there on the market, and the market will tell you. The market will tell you what it's worth. It doesn't matter what the seller says it's worth. It doesn't matter what you think it's worth. It doesn't matter what a realtor tells you it's worth. All that matters, and it doesn't matter what another investor buyer tells you it's worth. All that matters is, what does the market tell you that it's worth? And sometimes, again, you just don't know until you put it out there on the market and let the market tell you. I mean, this sounds like real simple, duh, of course, Joe. But it's really important to understand that, because the way this process kind of works, and this is really important to understand, when a lead comes in, I only spend maybe 5 minutes researching that property and coming up with an offer. I just do a basic, simple due diligence, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, okay? But I'm going to be on that phone. I'm going to call that seller as quickly as possible. And the less you know about this lead, the better. You want to call that seller and talk to them and ask them 50 questions. The less you know about the property, the better, because that puts you in a position where you're the one asking all the questions. You want to stay in control of the conversation, and you stay in control of the conversation by asking a lot of questions. So I'm just doing a little basic due diligence up front, and I'm going to show you in my mind map the things that you look for here in a minute. The real due diligence starts after the seller accepts your contract. So you do the mail, lead comes in, goes to voicemail, you call the seller back or send them an offer, then you talk to them, and you, at that point, if they accept your offer, you have 30, 60, 90 days to close. Some of my clients and students do 6 months. By the way, I was talking to a seller yesterday. I have it right here in my notes. He said, well, the property's worth about $35,000 to $85,000, so I want $65,000. I said, really? Well, how'd you come up with that number? Oh, I just looked. Well, do you think that's a fair price for this crazy market? Yeah, it absolutely is. That's a great price. So I went in and looked at Redfin, and there were a bunch of properties that were currently for sale for 20. This guy wants 65, and I could buy a similar property that's bigger even for $20,000, like $45,000 less. Anyway, that due diligence period starts at that point, once you get it under contract. So don't be afraid to sign these contracts. Don't be afraid to make offers. Even though you don't know everything yet, it's okay. Why? Why is that? Because the contract has a clause in there that says you have 90 days to close, 30 days to close, 60 days to close, and you can cancel the contract for any reason. I feel like this is really important, and I'm going to share my screen with you. I want to show you the contract. And if you're watching this, just type in the comments contracts, and I'll send you a link to view some of these here. Okay, this is letter and contract vacant land deal. And by the way, if you're on Zoom right now, you already have my contracts inside the inner circle. Okay. So here's the main contract that I use. It basically says, here's the offer price, property is being bought as is. If the seller can't provide clear title or clear access, that's a big deal, or doesn't allow proper inspection of the property, I'm going to be released from further obligation of this contract. Again, if you're on YouTube right now, type in the YouTube comments contracts, and I'll send you this, okay? If you're in Zoom right now, I'll just share this with you right now, actually, in Zoom. Or you know what? I wonder if I can do it. Oh, look at this. I can do it from here. Okay. Wait a second here. I can do it from here. Isn't that nice? Boom. All right. Those of you in Zoom, there you go. And those of you on the YouTubes, hold on one second. Okay, good. I just put a link for you on YouTube, guys, in the comments. Let's go back here. Okay, so here is it. Here it is. This purchase agreement is assignable. Buyer's performance in buying this property is contingent upon a buyer's satisfactory due diligence of the property. Does it say I have 2 weeks to do due diligence, inspection periods, whatever you want to call it? No. My performance in buying this property is contingent upon a satisfactory due diligence of the property. Period. That's it. So the due diligence starts after I get it under contract, okay? And then closing will be within 90 days. Now, I was just working with a client today. His seller has a good deal. He only wants 30 days. I said, fine, change it to 30 days. So I have 90 days. Some guys do 6 months, whatever you want. That's a great thing about land. You don't have to have as tight of a closing period as you do with houses. Closing may be extended an additional 30 days at buyer's request if still performing due diligence under the terms of this agreement. So, we don't want to, this is important to understand. This is all foundational to understanding due diligence and researching properties. You are not going to close on the properties until you have a buyer, until the market tells you what it's worth. You may buy it for 20, you think it's worth 40. You put it out there, crickets. Nobody's calling you. No realtor's interested in listing it. You find out the property doesn't have access. It's too sloped. The neighbor is threatening people with a shotgun. Whoever comes to look at it, what you thought was a road is actually their driveway and there's a gate on it. Like, you just don't know. The market tells you, it's not a good deal. You bought it for 20. You thought it was worth 40. You find out, oh man, there's another property that just went for sale for $25,000 and you're trying to sell yours for 40. You know what? The market's told you don't have a good deal. So what do? You don't freak out and hyperventilate. You relax, take a deep breath, because the contract allows you to cancel and get out of it. Make sense? The market tells you now. This is why due diligence starts after you get this contract signed and you sign it. Now you've got 30, 60, 90 days to market the property. Okay. There is right here, the buyer is agreeing to purchase this property to lease or resell for a profit. I'm disclosing that I'm buying it for a profit. The seller understands that I'm not intending to occupy the property. Seller agrees that the buyer can market the property, including on the MLS, to buyers prior to closing. Nice. The buyer, listen to this. The buyer retains the right to terminate this agreement by delivering to the seller a written notice of cancellation. That's it. So I was working with a client today and the seller was upset. What do you mean? You could cancel this contract on day 89. That's not fair. Okay, fine. So what would be fair, Mr. Seller? What do you think? Well, 30 days is normal. By the way, already I can tell on a scale of 1 to 10, what's his motivation? Type it in the chat right now. On a scale of 1 to 10, somebody that gets upset about a 90-day, 30-day close or whatever, what's his motivation on a 1 to 10 scale? 1 being very little, 10 being very high. Type it in there, please. I want this to be interactive. We're not just here to be entertained, right? You guys are taking notes. By the way, as I'm talking, please type in the comments your notes, your ideas, your ahas, the big ahas. Some of these things I'm telling you guys right now are going to make you an extra $100,000. Just one little click, like, oh my gosh, that's amazing, Joe. One little idea is going to make somebody here on this Facebook, YouTube, Zoom, wherever you are, $100,000. I promise you that. Okay, so George, why do you think his motivation is a 10? Liz, why do you think 10 is really super highly motivated? Carolyn's right. His motivation's a 1. What am I trying to say here? The guy doesn't want to sell. Otherwise, he wouldn't care. Now, I can see where, because, okay, let me maybe give this some better context. Immediately, he's like, 90 days? No. Like, it does sound like he wants to sell. I can see where you're saying that. But, like, most motivated sellers, yeah, they do want to sell it as quick as possible, but they don't argue over the finer details of the contract. They don't give you any kickback. They're just like, okay, let me sign it. Okay, but Liz, I see your point. You made a good point. Just maybe I didn't do a good job of explaining this. After talking to him, I knew his motivation was not good. Yeah, he did want the money, but all right. So anyways, what we did though is I told my client, I said, go back to him and talk to him and say, hey, listen, what would be fair to you? When would you want it to be closed? Okay, 30 days. All right. So and this is whenever a seller asks for a concession or a change of the contract, it's always conditional. Okay, if I can close in 30 days, would you sign this agreement today? Yes or no? Well, yes. Okay, so I'm not saying I can do this, but if I have to close in 30 days, that means I'm taking on more risk because I'm not sure what's going to, that's not enough time for me to do my due diligence and to figure out if this is a good deal. I might have to get a survey. I might have to get a perk test. I'm going to have to get realtors out there to look at it. I'm going to have to, the title company in these counties, they're really slow. So I might be willing to take on that risk, but is this price the best you can do? So now I'm bringing up some things that I'm concerned about with the property. It's not the road isn't paved. The property is pretty sloped. It's not been cleared out. It needs to be cleared out. Or there are no trees. Or there's not a survey done. It's going to cost me too much money to bring in utilities. I need to do a perk test, or may not. But like whatever it is, or the HOAs, there's too many restrictions, or I can't. It's going to be too hard to build, or whatever. Whatever it is, like I need time to figure this out, Mr. Seller. So I would do 30 days, but what is that price the best you can do? So I might do 30 days if the seller is negotiable on their price, one way or the other. Okay, does that make sense? So this seller, on a scale of 1 to 10, was not very motivated. He's arguing over these things in the contract. Most motivated sellers that I've done deals with, they don't care. They just sign it and they sell it. They want you to buy it as quick as possible. Are we good? Kevin is asking, does that link that I sent you include an assignment contract? Go find out. Click on the link and find out that I gave you guys. Okay? I'll put the link again in the YouTube comments there. And I'll put the link again in the Zoom comments right here. Okay, so it's a good contract. Always, whenever you use my contracts or anybody's contracts, always get a local professional to review your contracts, okay? I'm not an attorney. Don't pretend to be one. So always make sure you get professional, competent, legal advice from a local real estate investor-friendly attorney or realtor. Okay, good? And then, you know what? If you have to cancel the contract, here's a contract termination. It is very simple. You could just screenshot this. Okay? Your info, their info regarding a purchase and sale agreement dated here. This letter serves as notification of termination. This notification complies with the minimum notice period. The reason for this termination is, boom. Just screenshot that if you want to use it. So, how often do we cancel the contract? 25% of the time, maybe. Some people, once you're just getting started, it might be 50% of the time. But let's talk about how we evaluate deals, okay? I'm going to close some of these things here. And I'm going to pull up a property. I was going to say I'm going to pull up a property we're looking at right now, but I'd rather not. Let's pull up a property let's just find one on random. Somebody type in a state in the comments. Type in a state in the comments. Besides Arizona. Sorry, Elisa. Oklahoma. There you go. Boom. All right. Oklahoma. I got to pick a city. Fine. Remove outline. Let's zoom out a little bit. I'm going to look at current property on the market, home type land. All right, let's look for properties between, let's say 3 to 10 acres that have had their price reduced in the last 14 days. Well, looky there. Now it's only showing me this area, but let's look at some of these properties here. These are vacant lots currently for sale. They've had a price reduction in the last 14 days. And, we could also do, if we wanted to, time on Redfin, more than 90 days, 60 days, 30 days, or whatever. Another thing you could do, there's keywords right here, keywords. You could type in vacant land listings that have the word motivated in them or something like that. Well, let's look at one of these. 10 acres right here, $85,000. This property, see that red dot right there, Oklahoma City, so it's kind of to the southeast, 85 grand. I want to look this property up. I want to do some research on this property in particular right here. And so some of the tools I like to use are Land ID, and I'll show you a little bit how I do that. So this property, you know what, I'm going to give you a better example. Okay, I got an idea. I'm going to actually pull up a property that you can't see right now, but this is in one of, let me log out of that and log into my other FreedomSoft account here. I'm going to pull up one of the lists that we've been recently targeting here in a particular market. Okay. So all I have here is the GPS coordinates. Let me move this to right there. All I have are the GPS coordinates. So when I pull a list, when you get a list in FreedomSoft or you get a list in Priced or whatever, you're going to get usually the GPS coordinates or the APN number. A lot of these vacant lots do not have an address yet because there's nothing built on it yet. So all you have is GPS coordinates. So the first thing I do is I put that into Google and I click here to open up a map. All right, this particular property looks like it has something there maybe. Well, it's got something there, but it's pulling up as a vacant lot. It's fenced in, there's nothing there. So anyway, if I go back here. Now you can see this, it's a vacant lot. There's just junk on there or whatever. But there's not an address because there's no home here yet. And so I want to get an address. I want to look this property up on Redfin, but I can't look for properties on Redfin by GPS coordinates. I need an address. So how do you do that? Well, real simple. I'm just going to kind of zoom out a little bit here in Google Maps, and I'm looking for a property nearby that has an address. And I'm going to right click on this house right here, click what's here, and there you go. I get an address, 115 South Verda Street, Clewiston. Clewiston. Where do you live? I live in Clewiston, Florida. All right, so now I have an address for that property. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Redfin. I'm going to type in that address. It says no results in that area, but I'm going to zoom in and guess where I am. I'm there near that property. See Avenida del Sur and South Verda Street, right? Avenida, South Verda Street. So it put me right there. And now if you look at these lot lines, you can see, okay, my property is right there. And you can click on map, satellite. It's actually right there. So what I like to do is put that property in the center of the map. And from here, I can switch back to Street View. Okay. The other thing I like to do is I like to look the property up on Zillow. So let's go here, paste that property in Zillow. It's going to take me right there. And I can, if I click on this property across the street, look, this is an old listing from that property right there. This might be an old listing. This might be, so you can click on these to get, but this one right here, I'm going to click on it, open it up. And this was a property that sold back in, it was listed for sale in 2023. So I don't know when it was sold, but, okay. But the cool thing now is I can go through this picture of a neighbor's property and see what the area is like. So I can tell, okay, there's homes like this out there. This is a nice property. And look, they've got turkeys, ducks, geese. So they have some wildlife, some sheep. Okay, so one of the things I'm going to ask the seller as I'm talking to the seller about their property is, hey, what's going on with the neighbor across the street? Do they have a bunch of wild animals? Do you know what happens to all their waste Is it loud? Okay, anyway. So I can see that property. That's cool. Then I can zoom out a little bit and look at, okay, here's a property. This one sold recently. You get some information about the properties. You can look at some of these, even the older listings, and you can read the description on this property that was listed and sold 2 years ago. And a lot of times get a lot of information here about the neighborhood. So you'll see something about maybe utilities, electric, water, septic, HOAs. You can see if this one has any HOAs. I don't see anything in here about HOAs, do you? Okay, you can see sewer utility information, septic tank. I'm showing you the process of due diligence. I'm looking at my property. I'm looking at neighbor's property, previous older listings and things like that. Water information, well. You see the power of this? I don't see any information on HOAs. That's good. That tells me there might not be HOAs. There's no restrictions, which means the properties with no restrictions are easier to sell. I can see the listing history of this one. Sometimes if it's a new construction, you can go back far and see the price that vacant lot was sold for. All right, so what I was trying to show you is sometimes if you only have GPS coordinates, how do you pull the property up on Redfin? You can't search GPS coordinates in Redfin. Watch what happens when I try to do that. Paste the GPS. It takes me to the center of the city. That's not my property. So it gets you close, but not where I want to be. Let me go back to where I was. Sorry, hold on here. There you go. So let's say we want to look at this property now. Let me show you one other thing that's really cool. If I'm looking at this property here, let me go. All right, I'm going to click this property. This is the street view. I'm going to click on this map. One of the things I like to do here is look at flood maps right here. So I know my property is right across the street, so I'm got a little flood risk there, some concern. Now, most of Florida is a wetland, so maybe it's not a big deal, but my lot right across the street, I got some concerns, right? So we'll look at that in a second here. Now, we have the address. Again, we wanting some research on this lot right here. There's not an address. So if I go back to the GPS search right here, it's taking me to this property, but there's not an address there. I can drag the yellow dude around and I have some street views. Okay, this is another thing I use a lot for due diligence is street view. This picture, if you look on the bottom corner down here, it says 2011. So this one's 3 years old. Okay, great question from Joe and Rich. When do you do this much research? After the sellers contacted you? Yes. So like this kind of research I'm showing you now is just the quick research that I do either right before I call the seller, real quickly looking at maps like this, or after I've talked to the seller and I want to make an offer. The deeper due diligence stuff, I'm going to show you in a mind map, that kind of stuff. That's going to be involving calling the county, calling realtors. Sometimes, if it's an area where I might want to dig a well, or I know my buyers are going to want to dig a well, I'm going to call different well companies. I'm going to call investors. It's like this is just stuff I'm doing preliminary upfront. Yeah, so this street view, Pamela, is right. It's 13 years old. So that's just stuff you got to be aware of. But when I'm looking at the street view here, and I can drag the yellow guy around, and I can look over here. What's in the area? Now this fence is weird. So I'm going to ask the seller, what's going on with this fence? Is there some toxic waste there? What are you trying to protect? I'm going to ask the seller, are there utilities on the lot yet? Okay, so anyway, now if this was not in Florida, I would want to look at the 3D to see, what's the slope of the area like. You can kind of zoom around a little bit. Obviously, I think the tallest mountain in Florida is like 400 feet. There is a hill in Florida. It's like 500 feet or something. Don't quote me on that. But if you're in South Carolina, Tennessee, you want to look at the slope and see what it's like. Is it buildable or not? Okay. As I'm looking at this, I'm also thinking about, okay, is the road paved? What's going on in here? Like looks like there's a bunch of junk in there that I'm going to have to clean out. What's going on with the neighbors here? Do they raise animals? Is this a junkyard over here? Why is there so much junk going on in this property? There's a bunch of abandoned cars, let's just say, abandoned boats. So these may be questions I ask the sellers about, because this might make my property less appealing to somebody who's looking at it. If there's, a bunch of junk stored in the back, I don't know. I'm also looking here, look, water. It tells me this might be a wetland or close to a wetland. But I'm also thinking, all right, well, you know what? These houses were built out here, so maybe it's not a big deal. I'm also thinking because they're mobile homes, there's probably not an HOA. So whoever buys this is not going to have any restrictions. Yeah, this gate is weird. Why would they do that? All right, anyway. Maybe their goal was to store things on there. Okay, so I'm looking at Zillow, looking at neighbors' properties. What else is going on here? The next thing I want to do is, remember I put in the address. So from here in Google Maps, I had the GPS coordinates, but I can't put GPS coordinates in Zillow. I need an address. So I'm going to click on a neighbor's property to get an actual address. I'm going to put that into Redfin right here. Click enter or go. It's going to take me close to there. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to click on that property. There's a little dot. You have to click on the dot. Right? And then you maybe click on this map. Click on nearby homes for sale. I'm going to move this map around to where my property is in the center of the map. And I want to see now, what are similar properties currently listed for sale and actives and pendings. So I'm going to do some filters here. I'm going to switch this to map street view just to clean it up a little bit. I'm looking at coming soon, actives, and pendings. And I want land only. You know what? Okay, I'm jumping around a little bit, but I want to show you something before Redfin. I want to look this property up on Land ID. And I have the GPS coordinates, right? So I'm going to look to see a little bit, get more information on Land ID. I'm going to go to Florida. And when you're searching in Land ID, you can search by address, latitude, longitude, and parcel. ID, owner names, owner address. Sometimes I only have the owner's name. Sometimes I don't understand his name, but I have the address. Sometimes I have the parcel ID. Sometimes I have the GPS coordinates. So I'm going to paste those GPS coordinates right here. Just going to kind of cut what I just did. Click go. And it sends me right there. All right, there's the property right there. There's that neighbor. So I'm going to look up some things here on Land ID that I like to look at. Number one, over here on the left, I can see it's 1.25 acres. Scroll down, you can see that the deed is quitclaim deed. It was last sold in 2020 for $9,000. So why is it quitclaim deed $9,000? I'm not sure. By the way, I always use title companies to close, so I let the title companies experts figure that stuff out. So this tells me a lot of information. Sometimes you get information here on what the land value according to the county is. Sometimes the land value is a lot less than what it actually is. So the seller sometimes says, you know what, um, I want whatever the county value of the property is. And I might be willing to offer 50, and the seller says I want county value, and so it's 28. Okay, is 28,433 be fair? You see where I'm going? So the assessed property value is the total assessed value of the property's land and improvement values provided by the county. And then land value is the land only value closest to current market value used for assessment by county or local taxing authorities. I don't understand what the two differences are, but there's assessed property value and property value. Both of these numbers come from the county. Dora is asking, what's the problem with the title company? I don't know, but like, I don't do tabletop closings. So if this property was transferred by a quick claim deed, I don't know if that's good enough or not, but I don't have to worry about it because I'm going to use a title company. I'm getting title insurance, and the title company will figure that out. All right, anyway, I know this owner bought it for $9,000. Now, not every county gives you this information, and he bought it 4 years ago. So 4.5 years ago almost. Why did he buy it? Why is he selling it now? I also get the address of the property if there is one. I get the address of the owner. I can see he lives or she lives in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It's the address of the property. Now, in Land ID, there's different base maps. You can look at satellite, aerial, and you can see sometimes they're different. Yeah, they're growing something there. George thinks it's a marijuana plantation. You're probably right. I don't know. But, okay, so something's going on. If we sometimes zoom in, you can see. Maybe they raise dogs there or animals or something. I don't know. There's another base map, or just there's Google. That's crazy. I don't know what's going on. By the way, don't freak out about the lot lines. They're probably off on the mapping system. That's approximate. Aerial, satellite. I don't know what Explorer is. Vintage, USGS, Street Views, Modern GPS. On some of these, you can get like topographical. You can see the elevation gains and stuff like that. Also, by the way, too, with Land ID, there's a way to do this where you can draw points and lines. So you could draw a point from one side of the property to the other, and it'll tell you the elevation difference. And so you can calculate the slope of the property there if you want. So I got some information here. The next thing I want to show you right here is overlays. If you go to overlays, scroll down till you see FEMA floodplains. All right, so it's not a FEMA floodplain. That stuff's over here, which is why none of it's being developed. And then if I scroll down some more, you can see where the federal and state land is. Right here, you can see transmissions lines, which is sometimes helpful. Wetlands. All right, nothing happened. The dark blue is wetlands. This is FEMA floodplain. Now, do you remember Redfin kind of gave us some weird, if I click flood here in Redfin, it kind of gave us some weird stuff. So I'm not, I don't know what's going on, but I trust this a little bit more. Sometimes in here you can see where the water wells are. Sometimes you can't. It just kind of depends. Okay. Let me cancel this. Now, if it was more in the hills, in fact, here it is. Let me zoom down. Oil wells, Solar farms, wind farms, power plants. Yeah, I can't see it. Maybe it just depends on... It depends on the area, maybe. Sometimes this stuff doesn't turn on. There we go. Now, I don't know what that is. Okay, anyway. Now I want to know, well, what's this property worth? And I kind of talked about this on last week, but this is still part of the due diligence process. I have the property here on Redfin. It's in the center of my map. I'm going to switch to for sales. All right, I'm looking at land. I know my property, I think, was 1.25 acres. So in Redfin, I'm going to look at land only, and I want between, let's say, half an acre and 3 acres. And I'm going to start zooming out because my property's in the center. Zoom out again, and I'm going to sort from low to high. And I can start seeing here, okay, this is my competition. Here's a property the same size, just, 4 or 5 blocks away for $34,500. I know immediately I'm going to have to sell my property for less. I'm going to have to sell mine for $29,500. So if I open up his property, I can see how long it's been on the market, 84 days. It hasn't sold yet. I'm also looking here at some of the descriptions. This is part of the due diligence process. Look at the other land that's for sale and see what's going on with this, right? Price to sell at $34,500. This remarkable opportunity is well below market value. There's nearby attractions such as Skydive, Spaceland, Florida, golf course, the captivating museum of the Atathiki. All right, so I'm also looking here. Is there any information on HOAs? If I scroll down. Property details. Current use is residential. Property taxes are $871 a year. Well required. Septic is needed. There are utilities, electrical nearby. Okay, HOA information. I don't know what that means, but it doesn't look like one. Usually it would tell you the price, the monthly or annual dues. Okay. Cool. Sometimes you can go up here and look at the sale and tax history of these properties. When was it last sold? It was listed for 34. It was at 37. It was listed for 57 in 2005. All right, so that's good intel, right? What about this property? What's going on here? Montura Ranch Estates. Livestock horses are permitted. And so are mobile and manufactured homes. Is that good or bad, by the way? Type in the chat. Is that good or bad? Horses, livestock are permitted, and so are mobile and manufactured homes. Where's the love? Type in the chat. Okay. Carolyn says that's bad. Dora says that's good. What else? Rob says very good. Michelle asks, does community park and a pool imply HOA? There is no community park or pool. I didn't read that. Good. James says it's bad. Joe and Rich says good. Phil says mobile homes are not good. Depends on your end goal. Well, in my opinion, it's good. That means there's fewer restrictions, which is going to make this property easier to sell for me. So somebody says, oh, community park and pool. I'm sorry, Michelle, you're right. But that doesn't mean it's in an HOA. That's like a, trust me, if it was in an HOA, they would not be allowing horses and livestock and manufactured mobile homes. That's right. Rob's got it here. Mobile homes means more flexibility for buyers. So the less restrictions, the better. That means the faster I can sell this property, okay? Which is a good thing. That lets me know, okay, good. I'm going to be maybe a little more aggressive. I'm a little more optimistic on this property. I feel good about it. I know I can sell it quickly. I know I can sell it for a high price. I'm also looking at what are the realtors being paid on these properties here. All right. Let's look at another one here. This one's pending. Interesting. This was 1.25 acres. It's pending at 45. Why did this property sell and not the other one? It's the same size. Why is this one pending and it's 10 grand more than the other one? I don't know. Outside the flood zone, ideal for building a dream home, 2 miles from the community, clubhouse, pool, and picnic area. That might be like a municipal thing. It's a highly desirable Montura Ranches area. They're asking 36 grand an acre, 3% buy. Now here's the deal. Here's the deal too. When I'm making offers, and we talked about this in the last week's class, man, I'm offering the agents 10%. Do you think, and you think about it, 3% of 45 grand, 45,000 times 0.03. Do you think that realtor's going to get all super excited about a $1,300 commission? But if I offer them a $4,000 commission, $4,500 commission, do you think that might get more excited? Do you think I'm going to be able to sell my property for more? Do you think that realtor is going to work harder to sell my property or this property? That's why when I make my offers, I always build in 10% commissions. Now, that might be split between the listing agent and the buyer's agent. But, I'm going to get that buyer's agent a 5% commission instead of 3% commission. That's why and how you can sell your deals faster. And sometimes I even offer the realtors, the listing agent who lists my properties for me, a $1,000 bonus if they can sell my properties within 30 days. And I build that into my offer. So as long as I make my 10 grand, I'm happy with this deal. Okay, I'll pay a realtor whatever it takes for them to be able to sell it quickly for. And guess what else? This is important to understand. The less the realtor is going to care that you don't own the property. They'll work with you. They'll let you do assignments. They'll let you get creative on the double close, using the buyer's money to fund the A to B side of the closing, okay? They'll be more flexible in working with you in helping you find a good title company, working through any objections that the buyer might have or the seller might have, or helping you get good pictures of the property. So always be generous with your realtors and pay them really, really well, and they'll take good care of you. Okay. So we're still doing due diligence on these properties, right? I'm looking at pictures. What's the area like? What are the HOAs like? Etc. Etc. Now let's look at solds. Again, my property is in the center of this map. 3 months. Look at this. This is one thing I really love to see. When I'm looking at the last 3 months, are there a lot of blues? This is a lot of blues. I love it. Let me go past 6 months. If I have too many comps, I just zoom in. If I don't have enough, I zoom out. My property's always in the center. But I'm looking here now, and I'm looking at price low to high. Now, if it's black, that means it was sold from county records. If there's a picture, it was sold on the MLS. So this one sold for 34 grand. I can open it. I can see it was listed with Roxana, and it was bought with Real Estate Empire Group. I can see, there it is. Roxana listed it and brought the buyer. I want some information. I want to call her. So some of this due diligence, again, happens after I get it under contract. So I'm going to call Roxana, and there's her phone number right there. And if you go into these different sites on Zillow and LinkedIn and Real Estate Book, the Agent Story and Realtor.com and Palm Beach Post, you get some more contact information. You usually dig deep enough, you can find a cell phone and an email, and I'm going to reach out to her. And I'm going to talk to her. As part of my due diligence process, I want to see if she has a buyer. Now, I have a script that I use with realtors, and if you want this script, type in the comments, scripts. Type in the comments, scripts. And here's my scripts for realtors. I'm going to show this to you. Okay. Scripts for talking to realtors. By the way, if you're on Zoom right now, you have this because you are part of the inner circle. So I'm going to share this with you right now in the Zoom. So this is the realtor. Oops, sorry, hold on here. This is the realtor script. Okay, and those on YouTube's. I just posted the link on the YouTube. Okay. It's a little different link than my Zoom people get. So this is a script when you're talking to realtors, when you're looking for deals, and you go down a little bit to page 2 or 3. I have here the script for talking to realtors to either bring you a buyer or list your property. Oh, you don't see my screen. There you go. It's a script for talking to realtors to either bring you a buyer or list your property. And this is also part of my due diligence process. I want to talk to agents. So the conversation kind of goes like this. By the way, you've got to be using realtors to help you buy and sell your deals. But hey, my name is Joe. I'm an investor. I actually live in St. Louis. I'm looking to buy this property in Clewiston, Florida. Clewiston, Florida. By the way, it sounds like a really nice place. Are you from there? Do you live around that area? All right. Well, look, I see you just sold a property recently for $34,000. It's a little 1.25 acre lot, Roxana. Okay. And do you mind if I ask you a few questions? Is this a bad time? I'm thinking about buying a property similar to this right now. I'm out of town, and honestly, I don't know if I want to buy this deal or not yet. Sometimes when I buy land, I just flip it, I sell it. Sometimes I sell it with owner financing. Sometimes I just hold it for 30 years. I'm new to the area. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. But I'm wanting, if I do list it and resell it, I'm willing to pay a realtor 10% commissions plus $1,000 bonus if they can bring me a buyer for this deal in 30 days or less. So I don't know if you'd be interested in maybe answering a few questions about this area for me, would you? Okay. I'm calling all the realtors who've sold vacant land in the area recently. You wouldn't have a buyer that would be interested in this property, would you? I just thought of another thing I want to add here. Sometimes I might just hold the property for 30 years. I don't know what I'm going to do, okay? I'm just honest with the seller, and I'm telling them what I'm doing with the property. I'm going to ask them questions about the area. Hey, does vacant land sell quickly in this area? Are there restrictive HOAs? What are their rules? Does the county or the HOA allow camping or hunting in the area? Somebody was saying here that they probably grow weed on that. So why do you think this property has a big fence around it? You know, the realtors are going to tell you all this stuff. And because I'm approaching the realtor, this is important to understand when you're doing your due diligence and you're calling realtors, you're calling the county, you're calling, companies that will drill a well for you or do surveys. You're always approaching it of like, what's in it for them? I want to help them make some money, right? So I'm not just gimme. I'm offering some kind of like a carrot. Like, hey, I'm thinking about, I don't have an agent yet. If I do sell this thing, maybe you can help me list it. Maybe you can bring me buyers. You start talking to these realtors, they're going to go look at the property. They're going to take pictures of it for you. They're going to tell you what the slope is like. I've had this happen many, many times. The realtors will say, yeah, that's not a good area. The house, there's a property across the street that's been for sale for 5 years. I went to your property. It drops like a cliff. You'd have to get like an elevator to get your car up and down to get to that property. Or we'd have to cut out a huge road. It's going to be cost prohibitive. There are other properties that are currently nicer than yours that are for sale. I don't think. The other thing the realtor might tell you is, yeah, this is a great property. You could sell it probably for like 40 or 50 grand. Then I'm thinking, all right, well, okay, that's great, but I want to price this thing aggressively. I want to sell it in 1 or 2 months. What would I need to price it for to sell it quickly? I mean, like really quickly. I want offers right away. What would I need to price it at? And then Realtor will many times give you a lower number. Well, you'd probably need to be at like 30 for that or whatever. 25,000. Okay, that's where I start. That's where I'm going to start. I'm going to list it for 25 grand. I'm going to subtract my profits. I'm going to subtract my realtor commissions. I'm going to subtract the realtor bonus, closing costs, pictures, oops factor, things, I don't know about. Then closing costs, and then I come up with my offer. Does it make sense? Okay. Some of this, like, by the way, again, talking to the realtor stuff, that happens after you get it under contract. Okay. I feel like I'm jumping around a little bit, but like, I want you to understand some of this research, this due diligence you do before you make an offer, it just takes a few minutes. Like looking at Redfin, looking at similar properties, just takes a few minutes. Looking at Google Earth, Google Maps, 3D images, street view images. Is it on a flood zone or not? But after you get it under contract, this is when you make the calls. You call the county. What's the property zoned for? You call the county and see are there HOAs or what are the restrictions? Are there restrictions with camping? Are there restrictions with tiny houses or modular homes? Are there utilities in the area? Who do I call about all that stuff? What's required to do a building permit? Do I have to do a septic perk test and things like that? That's the kind of due diligence you're going to do after you get it under contract. And you may have to go back to the seller, renegotiate a lower price, or cancel the contract. That's okay. That's okay. That's normal. You should be doing that kind of stuff. All right. So this script with realtors, this is just going to help you figure out, like, when you're talking to realtors, what do you say to them and stuff like that. Are we good? Okay. So back here, I'm looking at Redfin. I can see this is a sold property. That's cool. Let's go to another one. By the way, I like these realtors who bring me aerial photos. They give me photos like this with plenty of blue sky. Yeah, this is a realtor I want to list my properties. They're going to even draw a fancy line where the property is at. This is Scott Fader. I'm going to call this guy. What's up, Scott? How you doing? Joe McCall here. I see you sell a bunch of land in the area. And interesting. This guy's out of Georgia? No, he's out of Central. There's a phone number. There's an email address. There's Scott. There's office phone number. Here's his website. List with the Otter. Great. Oh my gosh, look at this. List on the MLS without paying a listing agent commission. Guess what I just found, ladies and gentlemen? A guy who will do flat fee listings for vacant land. 6-month vacant land listing, $200. Your contact info is listed on the MLS, no listing agent. Now, can he do all 50 states? I doubt it. He can probably only do a few of them. Nationwide services? What? List with the Otter. This might be a really good realtor to work with for your vacant land deals. Very interesting. So again, listwiththeotter.com. I'll put this link in the Zoom chat. Listwiththeotter.com. I'll put it in the YouTubes as well. Yeah, this probably looks to me like an investor-friendly realtor who's willing to do flat fee listings. We probably list 50% of our deals on flat fee listings, 50% with a regular broker. But this guy, if I go back to here, the reason I like him, he knows how to get these pictures. Now maybe, I don't know. Maybe the investor who's listing this property got these pictures taken. But I'm looking for a realtor that gets me these kinds of pictures. and a realtor, because I know this guy who's selling this land is probably selling this land for some investor that bought it, right? If I go to sale and tax history, well, there you go. Okay, I was right. Look at some investor bought this. They closed in May and they listed it April 24th. What does this tell you? Isn't this interesting here? I don't know his name and contact info, George. Just go to his website. List with order. Look at this. It was actually closed on May 1st, but it was listed on April 24th. April 24th is before May 1st. I'm not trying to insult your intelligence. But what does that tell you? This realtor doesn't care that this guy owns it yet. He listed it for sale for $38,000 while he was closing on it for $23,000. Cool, right? This is a good investor-friendly realtor to have on your team. And if anybody knows this guy, tell him I was talking about him. So for $200, you get it listed on the MLS. And it's sold. Okay, I knew that. Here I am just looking right at it. It actually sold. So he bought it on, whoever this investor was, bought it on May 1st, sold it on May 17th, and made how much profit? $15,000 gross profit after paying, if there was an agent who brought the buyer. Well, look, it says bought with this guy. Yeah, so ASAP, if you've got a property in this area, call this dude, Scott Fader, and ask him for help. Say, hey, I want to list my property. And maybe if you can just help me with doing all of the work, instead of paying you $200, I'll pay you $1,000. I'll pay you $2,000 if you can help me get this thing sold. And this guy, I don't know where he lives. Maybe he's in New York. But usually these guys are local. I'm looking for an address here. Contact us. Yeah, they might be national because there's not an address there. All right. But he understands he doesn't have a problem with listing property you don't own yet, and he doesn't have a problem with you making $15,000 on a wholesale flip. Don't you love land? Come on. I love land. Okay, would you rather list with this realtor or this realtor? All right, this one, the one on the left or the one on the right? Type it in the chat. By the way, if you're leaving now and you want the recordings, that's fine, but you can get it in, go to my YouTube channel. You can see the recordings here. Okay, I want to list with this guy. He does better pictures. Yvonne Gallegos. Okay. I see here the property's high and dry. Currently fenced, can purchase together with the home next door. Can be site built or manufactured home. Good to know. All right, so part of this due diligence, have I made myself clear enough, is looking at other properties that have sold nearby. Looking for realtors that put really good pictures on here. I'm looking at the descriptions, trying to get some information. Sometimes you don't see anything, which is interesting like that. You see what it sold per acre, $42,000 an acre. That's good to know, isn't it? So this one was bought in 2005 for 30. So a lot of times in some of these markets, you'll see, a recent purchase and a recent sale. Okay. Cool. When I'm at Redfin here and I'm looking at, let me go back to where I was here. When you're looking at this and you're looking at solds, I can see, okay, this is good. A lot of recent activity. That's good. If I don't have enough activity, I zoom out. Maybe instead of 6 months, I go 12 months. Last 12 months, I got too many now. 255, what the what? So I'm going to start zooming in. There's 42, okay? I'm looking at this. Another thing that I like to do with my due diligence is I use this Pebble Scraper tool. I know you can't see this, but I just pushed this little scraper button from Google Chrome. It's an extension called Pebble. So just Google Pebble Chrome extension and you'll see this thing. And it scrapes everything on the right-hand side. And it looks like this. I'll show you what it looks like right now. Okay? It just scraped everything, boom, and tells me the median price per acres and the average price per acre. So I can see everything is selling for about $32,000 an acre. Cool beans. But I look at the cheaper ones here. Look at this. They're selling for $12,800 an acre, $15,200. So I might need to get rid of some of those more expensive properties. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll go, give me high to low, and I'm going to remove, like these higher price properties are kind of skewing, messing with my numbers. So I might say, okay, give me a max price $49,000. Sort from low to high. Do that pebble scraper again. And so now I have a lower number, but I can also, I know you can't see this, but I might just bring down the cheapest property. I might bring down the lowest 10 properties. I might go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'll do another screenshot to show you what I see now, which is a lot different. It went from 32,000 to 24,000. So instead of just scraping all of them, I scraped the cheapest ones, and I see, all right, well, the median or the average price per acre is 24,000. I'm going to use that instead now for my calculations. Real simple, fast, easy way to scrape everything on that page. Make sense? Okay, so now let me go to the mind map. This is one of the things that I talk about when you're wanting to do your due diligence. What are you looking for? So the due diligence starts after a seller accepts your offer. And here is a checklist. Okay. And by the way, what do you want? If you want this checklist, how do you get it? Type the word checklist in the comments and I'll get this to you. Right now, I'm going to share this with you guys in Zoom. Okay. There it is in Zoom. And again, if you want the checklist, I'll put the link, a different link, but it'll get you the same thing in the Zoom chat. I mean, YouTube chat. All right. Do you guys see that link in the YouTube chat? Give me a thumbs up. Let me know if you see it. Those of you on YouTube, are you still here on YouTube? Give me a thumbs up. Do you see that link I put in there? Okay, thank you, Phil. You're in Zoom right now. I want a YouTuber. Any YouTubers out there? Okay, I know you're there. Type it in there. But this is my checklist of things that I'm looking for. I want to verify who's on title. Does it have road access? What's the terrain or slope like? Is it floodplains, wetlands? Are the taxes current? How do you find that? You just go to the county website. Comps. Are properties selling fast or slow? Look at active comps, sold comps. You also want to look at pendings. Don't forget the pendings. Good. Thank you, Ricky. Got a thumbs up from Ricky. Now, after that's some of the stuff you can, before you send an offer, right? Then some of the things after an offer has been accepted, you want to check the HOAs. What are the HOA dues? Are there restrictions or whatnot? How do you find out? You just call the county, call other realtors, look at other listings. Are there any liens or judgments on the property? That the county will tell you that. What are the utilities? Who are the utility companies? We always put in our advertisements who the electric company is. Is it water, well, is it septic, is there sewer there, etc. Is there gas? Contact realtors. Is it currently listed with a realtor? There's been several times I talked to the seller. I get it under contract and find out, oh yeah, it's, by the way, it's listed with an agent. Well, that's good to know. All right. Well, are there realtors who can list your property? What kind of commissions do they charge? What price do they think they can sell it quickly for in 1 or 2 months? What's the competition like? Look at other similar properties that are being advertised. Oops. What are they advertising as the features or attractions or restrictions of the area? Another source that when we're going to be talking about more funding on a future masterclass here, but what is this a good enough deal for these funding companies to fund? Yes, Ricky, I do. I will deal with HOAs. Can you build on this property? What is the zoning? All right, so those are simple things right there, okay? And here is just another example. Does it have access? Is there road access? What's the terrain like? And again, when you're in Land ID, if you click on the 3D, you can see the 3D dimensions and see what the slope is like. And then when you go into priced, and I don't have that open anymore, priced will give you a report that shows you what percent of the properties is sloped and all of that. What are the HOAs, floodplains, wetlands? Oh yeah, and here's a free website. I forgot to, this was one of the ones I was looking for before. But right here, I'll copy and paste this link in the Zoom chat. And I'll paste it in the YouTube chat. But you just put in the different base maps, and somewhere in here you put the address of the property. Here you go, find location. Enter a street address. So I'm going to put in the address of that one property across the street. It's not, that address isn't working. Let's put those GPS coordinates in there. Is it going to work? Maybe I'm zoomed in too much. Let's look at satellite. Oh, look, it was working. Let's try it again. I don't know. Maybe I got something in my browser that's not working. Hybrid. Zoom out. Oh, the property's in Antarctica. So the GPS coordinates I gave it thinks it's in Antarctica. No wonder it's white. All right, well, Antarctica is a giant wetland. But I know this website works because I have a lot of friends that use it. Check that out. Taxes, liens, who's on title, comps, utilities. That's kind of the due diligence that you do. But the main thing is the market will tell you. You can call the local county. Oh, by the way, this is a good little resource here. Countywise.com. Go to countywise.com. I'll put that link in the Zoom chat. I'll also put it in the YouTube chat. And you can click on any of these states and you scroll down and you can see all the county information. Let's say you want to go to Hendry County. Takes you right to Hendry County. And here are the Hendry County GIS maps. And you can go in here to the all these different part of the zoning, planning and zoning maps, flood zones, wetlands, parcels, state forests, county parks, water management. Okay, is that cool? Good resource. Again, countywise.com. And then if you scroll down, you can see, all right, Charlotte County. There's their website. Oops, I didn't mean to go there. It's the city or the capital of the county, whatever, is Punta Gorda. People per square mile. Somebody was pretty bored and put this all together. Census data, population density, interesting. Back taxes. Oh, I don't know how accurate this is. But this data was posted in 2016. But it's good enough. Get some decent stuff there. Okay. But when you call the county, you're going to find out who's on title. Are there any special restrictions? Camping, RVs? Can you build on? Are the taxes current? Are there liens? Utilities? Look at what other people are advertising in the area. Call local realtors. I talked a lot about that. Now, Priced has some reports. I'm going to show you an example of a report on Priced, from Priced. This was a property I looked up one time in Melrose, Florida. And again, if you're an Inner Circle member, we give you these for free. Or if you're not an Inner Circle member, my Inner Circle, you can get these from Priced. It's $500 a year, and each report, it costs $2. But this is really cool, though. It gives you a bunch of information on who owns the property. It gives you analysis breakdown of the property. There's different ways that they price properties, by the county, by the city, and by their algorithm called the geo-adjusted market price. So they give you suggested market price. Again, we can give you this comp report. Scroll down. You can download comps right here. I don't understand that table or that one. But here are a list of all the for sale comps. And if you click on these links, it takes you to the Zillow link for their comps. You can look at the properties there. The next page are sold comps. You can see 1.5 acres sold for $13,000, 0.9 miles away. Click this link. It takes you right to that property. Slope overview. Okay, this is what I was really excited about. Now this is not a big deal in Florida, but in some areas like Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, Colorado, it'll tell you the minimum maximum slopes, what percentage of the property is actually buildable, what percent of it is flat, what percent is gentle slope, slight slope, moderate slope, or steep slope. So 100% of the property is gentle slope. Easy to build on. So this is really helpful right here. Scroll down some more. It gives you septic system breakdown. And I don't understand this, how they do this or how they know it, but I don't rely on that. Scroll down a little bit more. And here is the offer price appendix. I like this tool a lot because in each column, it gives you 3 different pricing valuation models, okay? Based on the county, based on the city that it's near, and based on their algorithm. It's called the geo-adjusted. And so I usually make offers at like 35, 40%. So if I make an offer at 40%, I have 3 different offers here: $7,200, $5,097, $5,769. I just go with the lower one. If I'm having a hard time, I know it's really small to see there, but here's what I'm trying to say. If I'm having a hard time finding comps and I just don't know what to offer, I'll go to this pricing table and go 40% and just pick the lowest of the 3 numbers. That's going to get you ballpark at a good place. Again, if you're a member of the Inner Circle, a good reason to stick around is what? My team will give you these reports for free. Yes, you get up to 10 of them a month. That's what I thought. You're welcome. Breaks it down by subdivision and whatever that is. And then you get, sometimes, I don't know if they do this anymore. You get the owner's information, emails, phone numbers. And then the newest reports will give you the realtors who list and sell properties in that area. Cool. All right, one more thing I want to show you. I want to show you a report that we give to, that's going to take me too long to find it, but we do a due diligence report that we send to our Inner Circle students as well that kind of show, it's like a spreadsheet. It's really powerful, but I don't have an example. Yeah, here it is. This is a sample report that we will do. Good. This is it. If you're an Inner Circle student, we'll do this report for you. My VAs will actually get on the phone and call the county and do research online. They can see the owner's name is. I know this is really, really tiny. I'll just do my best to read it to you here. We'll give you the parcel ID, the subdivision, the GPS coordinates, the Google map link, the elevation, the assessed values. Is there access to the property? Is there a structure on it? Yes or no? Closest major cities. They'll give you the website of the assessor, the treasurer, the recorder, zoning and planning department, county health department, phone numbers for all those departments, the GIS website. They'll find out if there are any back taxes owed on the property. They'll try to find out if there's any liens. Sometimes we can't find out, and you don't know until closing, but we'll try. We'll see what the annual taxes are. We'll see if it's current on their taxes. We'll see if it's part of an HOA or not. We'll see how much the dues are. What's the zoning on the property? What's the terrain type? Is the land cleared? Yes or no? Is it buildable? Yes or no? What can be built on the property? So we'll do the research to find out what can be built or what can't. Can you camp? Are RVs allowed? Are mobile homes allowed? Are tiny homes allowed? Any restrictions? Building height restrictions? Setbacks on the lot? What's the minimum lot size? Is there any time limit to build? Is the property in a flood zone? What could be done in order for the lot to be built? Is this amazing? What we do this? I don't know. See, we used to pay a company $25 to do these reports. And then my assistant was like, Joe, we can do these ourselves. So I said, well, can we do them for our inner circle students? And she said, yeah, we can. So there you go. Does the property have water connected? No. Would you need to dig a well? Is there septic? They would need to install blah, 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 blah. Is there gas? So here are the websites for the utility companies. Here's the website for the electric company, the gas company, and the trash company. So the cool thing about this, guys, is you can give this kind of a report to whoever when you're advertising the property, give this kind of a report to your buyers. Is that cool? Now you can also, there's companies like Parcel Review, parcelreview.com. Their turnaround right now is about 1 week. So this is why my team is like, Joe, we can do this ourselves. But we were paying $39.95. The price has gone up for one report. If you buy a package of reports, 20 reports, it's $640. The other prices have really gone up. Okay. They can also do other things for you. They can do a title report and a mapping report. They mainly do due diligence. And a mapping report, it's kind of hard to show you, but they'll do like 3D images like this with drawing the lot lines around the property. They can help you with that. Okay. And you can also look on Fiverr. So just go to fiverr.com and do a search for like vacant land research. And for $5, you can find people that will do, I'll do marketing images for vacant land. So this lady for $10 will draw you images like, it wants me to log in. I already have an account. Leave me alone. Okay. She'll create images like this for you with the text and everything like that. Also, there's other people for $10. They will do this. They'll do skip tracing, comparable analysis for vacant land. That's pretty cool. Look at this. This guy will do a spreadsheet for you. For sold comps, price per acre, links, the date it was sold, distance, drop down options. I'm not sure what that means. So he'll look at sold comps, for sale comps. Yeah, this is really cool. Days on market. I might hire this guy. So then look at this. He tells you, all right, this is what the property's worth, about 38 grand, and you should offer 11,500. I like this. Check this out. Who's this guy? Well, guess who's contacting him later tomorrow? Just a second here. Okay. Isn't that cool? I just found this guy right now. And what if he could make you reports like this and give you data on the property? Okay. Pretty cool, huh? What do you guys think of this? Is this awesome? Are you learning a lot? See, I'm looking for things like this that I can provide to my community. And maybe I can just hire this guy full time and just have him do these kinds of reports for all of my inner circle members. Sorry for the late text. Let's contact this guy. Okay. Here's the other thing too. Here's a great thing. I could have my VAs right now do this for our clients. Okay. Wow, that's pretty cool. So that's part of the due diligence. I wanted to talk about that. Any questions as we go through with this? Any questions that you guys might have? And remember, I told you, if you were watching me from the very beginning, I was going to talk about an opportunity that I'm putting together right now. I'm wanting to do more deals. And one of the reasons why I do these weekly masterclass calls is to help you, teach you how to do deals, help you grow in your business, because I'm hoping I can train some of you guys to bring me deals. Now, I just created a program. I'm excited about this. I've never done anything. Well, I have done this, but not like this, where I'm looking for apprentices. I want to do deals with some of you all. And this isn't coaching. So if you could just give me a couple minutes, 5 minutes, I'm going to share this with you right now, if that's okay. Do I have your permission? Can I walk through this? This will just take a little bit. I created a real fancy mind map. I wanted to walk through this right now with you, okay? All right, I'm getting some yeses here. Yes, yes, thank you. Okay, and another yes. Good. Any more yeses? I'll take all the love I can get. I'm excited about this. It's not cheap. It's not for everyone. But it's yeah, thank you guys for the kind words here. This is something that, again, I've never done like this before. And this is, I believe, game changer. I don't know anybody else that's doing this. So why am I doing this? Number one, I want to do more deals, as I'm sure you do as well. And I'm getting more leads than I can handle. I don't want to build a whole new team I don't want to hire new acquisition teams. I don't want to build all of that. I would rather do deals with you. So instead of just showing you how to do everything, why don't I just do it for you? So I've done coaching in the past where I show you how to do everything, but sometimes it's frustrating because it just flies right over your head. You're like, what? Okay, that's awesome. I'm so excited about it. But then when you actually get home and you sit down and you start to do it, you're like, what? What? I thought it was easy. He made it look so easy, but now I'm like, oh my gosh. So instead of me just showing you how to do it, why don't I do it with you, for you, where I'm just going to set up everything for you. And all you need to worry about is talking to sellers and making offers. I'll get to that in a minute, Pamela. So this is literally the fastest way to do a deal. Let me set up the systems and let me get you leads. Let me get you leads. Okay. Now, George, you will learn how to do this, but I'm going to give you this system. So instead of you learning how to do it, because you're only going to set it up once, let me just set it up for you. So I find that clients get the fastest success when working with me one-on-one not in group coaching, okay? And after coaching thousands of investors and doing hundreds of deals myself, I know what it takes to make you successful in this business. Now, one of my philosophies that I love, and I learned this from my friend Rob Swanson, simple system scale. It's really important. If you can keep it simple, you and someone else can do it. Then if you build a system around that simple thing, you and someone else will do it. And then if you just get out of the way and let someone else scale the simple system you created, you can enjoy the lifestyle and freedom that you've always wanted. So I want to implement my simple system scales into your business for you, okay? Now here's what it's not. It's not coaching. It's not mentoring. It's not a program or a course. It's not group coaching. It's not some Facebook group and mastermind. I want to do more land deals with you. So here is what it is. Number one, I'm going to send you 90 motivated seller leads over the next 90 days. You're going to work the leads from start to finish under my guidance and supervision. You'll know exactly what to say, what to offer every step of the way. And we split the profits. Simple as that. Now, you will only split the profits with me after you've paid yourself back the initial investment. We'll talk about that in a minute here. There is a "Are you serious?" deposit required. So this is 6 months. I say it's not coaching, but it is 6 months one-on-one with me. Now, I want to say quote unquote coaching, but it's 6 months one-on-one with me. And how does that work? Well, we're going to do an initial power day setup. We're going to set up everything on Zoom, and we're going to create a marketing game plan. We're going to map out the entire marketing strategy. We're going to pick out some markets. We're going to build out all of my systems into your. I'm just going to take my systems and build them up in one day. Then you get daily Voxer access with me. Yeah, that's right, George. It's 6 months of one-on-one partnership with me. You get Voxer me. Voxer is a smartphone messaging app. It's like a walkie-talkie. You can Voxer me every day. We're going to do monthly one-on-one calls, as needed calls when you have deals, and weekly group coaching calls if you want, and you're going to get access to all my courses and stuff like that, okay? So this is complete business setup. Don't just learn how to do deals. We're going to build a business that does deals. Now that's cool. Some of you just want to learn how to do a deal, but I want to build a business that does deals. So I'm going to set up this entire system, business in a box, and I'm going to give you a business with all the software, the tools, the marketing, the leads, the buyers, the funding, etc. We're also going to be setting up a blind offer system. So while you're waiting for the leads to come in, I'm not just wanting you to sit there and twiddle your thumbs. I'm going to show you how to make blind offers to MLS properties and Facebook Marketplace leads. And I'm going to set up the complete automated follow-up system that goes along with this. I just got a testimonial in our Facebook group from somebody that's doing these kinds of deals with realtors. Right here from Freddie. I don't know if you can see this. I'll zoom in a little bit. Woo, he says, another one closed. We bought it for $7,000. We sold it for $27,000 in Virginia. Getting on the phone, working agents, making offers, being consistent. Hope you all are crushing it. Okay, this lead, I asked him, is from a mailer campaign. We brought it in a rush before joining here and sat on a while on the MLS. We didn't look for buyers or call agents. I started applying what you teach to use agents, and we sold it for a cash in 30 days. Before your group, sat on the MLS from February to June. After this group, worked with an agent and sold it under 6 days. I was about to send the legal note pad letters too. Kind of bummed, but I have them ready for the next deal. I love it. Okay, cool. So we're going to set up a system. I thought he got that lead from an old lead, but I'm going to show you how to make blind offers while you're waiting for leads to come in. Because I'm giving you 90 leads over 90 days. I'm going to do all the marketing for you. And I'm going to but while you're waiting for these leads, I don't want you sitting around doing nothing. I want you to make offers. So I'm going to show you how to make blind offers and then how to do this automated follow-up with these sellers, okay? So this is a deal-focused apprenticeship program. I will provide all the funding for your land deals. We will partner on the first 3 deals. If you want us to do, now this is after you get your deposit back. First 1 to 3. I hope I'm making this clear. So the way the partnership split works, if you want me to do all the work of selling the deal, if you want my dispositions team to sell the deal, you just want to sit back, be a passive investor, it's a 30-70 split. You get 30% of the profits, I get 70%. If you want to do all the work with my coach and help, it's a 70-30 split. You get 70%, I get 30%. And you get to use my money, so I'm not charging you interest on my money. And then you get your upfront deposit back out of the profits in the first 1 or 3 deals. So you get the profits, you get your Are You Serious deposit back first, okay? You get access to my entire team, all my resources. My acquisitions team, dispositions team, tech support, private lenders, title companies, realtors, active buyers that I know right now are buying land. Now the done-for-you marketing, again, I'm going to give you 90 leads in 90 days. I'm going to give you a complete setup of the blind offer system with the automated follow-up built in. I'm going to give you all the free comp reports and the due diligence reports you need. When you get a deal under contract, I'm going to give you all of the recent investor buyers that are around your properties. I'm going to give you their phone numbers, their emails, their addresses so you can call them and direct mail them. 3 months of the $297 a month Freedom Soft is included. And what's included also is all the marketing to get you 90 qualified seller leads included as well. So I'm just going to set up the systems for you. We're going to pick some markets together, set it up for you, schedule out the marketing for the next 90 days, and I guarantee you'll get 90 leads that you should be making offers on. Now, in summary, this is what we're going to provide for you. It's a big mind map. Oh, come on now. Here we go. What are we going to provide for you? We're going to set up your entire land wholesaling business in FreedomSoft. We're going to select the best markets together. We're going to find the most active buyers in those markets. We're going to get a list of sellers in those counties. We're going to schedule out all your direct mail marketing to get 90 leads in 90 days. And then I will do all the marketing. Let me make that clear. I will run all the marketing for you. My VAs are going to run the comp reports and the due diligence reports for you. We'll help you set up all of the offers. I'll help you with all the automated follow-up systems, texting, direct mail, emails, etc. We will fund all your deals. You'll also use my proof of funds letters if you want. If you want to prove to the seller or the realtor that you have proof of funds, we'll fund all your deals. And this is important, okay? Important. So you can close in 30 days. I'll get to that in a minute, Chu. I want you to close on 30 days. This will help you do more deals. You'll be able to close more deals. So you're going to have the confidence behind you knowing I can close this deal in 30 days if it's a good deal. And if it's not a good deal, guess what? I'm not going to fund it, which means you're not going to be doing the deal either. So you're going to stay out of the bad deals because I'm not going to fund your bad deals. I'm not going to partner with you on your bad deals. So if we'll sell the deals for you if you want, or partner with you on the selling part. Just depends. We provide free proof of funds letters. If needed, we'll provide hands-on coaching to help you structure offers and close deals. Again, we're going to set up everything initially on a one-on-one power day, you and me. You get to Voxer me every day on Voxer. I do weekly group coaching calls, and we do monthly one-on-one calls with you and me. And then as needed calls when you have a deal. So if you just got a question, the best, fastest way to reach me is a Voxer. It's a walkie-talkie app. Okay. Anything else that's required to get your land wholesaling business up and running. Now, here's what you will be doing under my guidance and supervision. My goal is for you just to focus on your highest revenue generating activities as fast as possible, right? So you're going to be focusing on talking to sellers, making offers, and following up. You're going to be my acquisitions manager. I want you to focus on talking to sellers, making offers, and following up. You're going to review the new leads as they come in. You're going to listen to the voicemail. This is all done in FreedomSoft. All the phone numbers, texting, emails, websites, contracts, direct mail, letters, templates, automated workflows, everything. It's all inside of FreedomSoft. You're going to listen to the voicemail. You're going to call any seller back immediately who wants to sell their property. I'm going to give you a real simple script that you can talk to sellers with. You're going to mark the leads as hot, warm, cold, or dead. You're going to send an offer to every seller you talk to. You're going to send an offer in the mail and by email and by text and phone. You can do that all inside of FreedomSoft just with a few clicks. And then you're going to follow up with every seller every 30 days. Now, FreedomSoft will be doing a bunch of this for you. but you still need to manage it and make sure it gets done. Now, 75% of the follow-up is all automated in FreedomSoft, but 25% of it is you calling and texting the seller. So that's it. I want you to review the leads as they come in, talk to sellers, send every seller an offer, and follow up every 30 days with every lead. The other big thing is I want you to make sure that you are keeping FreedomSoft neat and organized. This is really critical. So I'm going to be giving you a bunch of leads, and I don't want it all messed up. I operate under a philosophy of no lead left behind. So you can't let leads fall through the cracks. You must be organized. You must update all the leads as they come in. You need to update the status of the lead. It's like new, warm, cold, dead, follow up, whatever. You're going to update the statuses. You're going to make sure each and every lead has a task assigned to somebody in the date with the future. You're going to make sure all the tasks are getting completed. And you're going to make sure all of the communication, the documentation stays inside of FreedomSoft. Real simple, okay? When you get an offer accepted, bring the deal to me. We'll get on the phone. We'll review it. I will only partner with you on good deals, right? What's a good deal? Glad you asked. Generally speaking, it needs to be offer price of 50% conservative. So what's a conservative list price? It's a price that a property will sell quickly for, let's say in 1 or 2 months on the MLS. So you have to be in it no more than 50%. Must have road access. Got to be usable terrain. No probate issues. No more than 25% wetlands in an area with high demand and lots of solds. Okay? And I'll tell you whether it's a good deal or not. You're going to coordinate with the title company and the realtors on selling the property. You're going to be the main point person, and you're going to handle all the communications promptly. You're going to be contacting recent investor buyers. I'm going to give you all of their contact information. I have software that goes in and gives me the names, phone numbers, emails, addresses of all of recent buyers that are either flipping or holding vacant land within a 1 to 5 mile radius over the last 1 or 2 years, 3 years. And so I'm going to give you all their contact information, and I'll help you with sending them direct mail as well. We have a letter that we use that is insane. That works really, really well for finding these buyers. Okay. Now, here's what it will do for you. This is way longer than I thought it would be, but I'm talking about it. This is the fastest way to a deal. Partner with someone who's already doing what you want to do. This is hands-on learning where you get to work from home. You get paid to learn the business. You learn by doing. You're not going to be left on your own. You're going to get my personal guidance, so you're not going to make any bad mistakes. So you're going to get confidence when you're talking to sellers and buyers, knowing that you have the experience and the money backing you that's behind you. It's going to get off the hamster wheel, and they're going to give you all the systems and business in a box. Cool. Now, what are the requirements? You've got to be a fast implementer. I want you to be a ready, fire, aim kind of person. By the way, I'm only taking 3 people on this. So it's not for everybody. You've got to have at least 2 to 4 hours a day to spend into the business. This isn't a hobby. This is a business. You need to go at least through the first 4 modules of my land investing course. You got to have good communication skills. If you're the type of person that needs extreme hand-holding and everything explained in excruciating detail, this is probably not for you. You must be good at computers. This is very dependent on the computer. So if you have a hard time finding the chat button on Zoom, this isn't for you. Or you must have somebody on your team who is good at the tech stuff. If you have a spouse, a son, a nephew, niece, somebody that's good with the tech stuff, now you're not going to be programming and building websites, but you got to be good at computers. You got to know how to turn them on, and you need to know simple stuff. I want this to be, this isn't a short-term coaching gig. I'm hoping we can work together for the long term. I'm hoping that we can partner at least on the first 3 deals together. That's kind of my outlook, what I'm looking. I'm not looking to be a babysitter. I'm looking for business building entrepreneurs. I'm not looking to, you got to be fun to work with. No negative Nellies, Debbie Downers, or yeah butters. We'll be doing everything in FreedomSoft. So the first 90 days, the first 3 months of FreedomSoft are paid for by me. I'm paying for all the marketing too. It's $197 to $297 a month after that, if you want to do that. And what do you not need? You don't need a huge pile of cash to buy the deals other than the initial deposit to work with me. You will use my cash to buy all the deals. You don't need prior experience. I'll train you. You don't need any of your own personal credit. You don't need expert negotiating phone skills. You don't need to go see the properties. You don't need to do all the work of selling the properties. I'll do it if you want. We hire realtors. You don't need to have a PhD in estimating repairs and rehab and ARVs and comps, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? Now, here's what to do next if you're interested. You ready? There is an upfront "Are you serious?" deposit required. It's significant. It's over 5 figures. I need to know that you're going to take this seriously. I'm going to be putting a lot of work into this, setting up everything for you. I'm going to be paying for the marketing, doing this. So you got to have skin in the game. It's a deposit that you get back out of the profits we do together. And we only split the profits after you've paid yourself back this initial investment. Make sense? This funds the software and all the marketing for me for the first 3 months. You should look at this as a deposit, as an investment that is only a small percentage of what you should be making every year. The fee is non-refundable any other way. The fee that you pay up front, it's only refundable out of the profits of the deals that we give. Okay? And again, we only split the profits after you've paid yourself back the initial investment. I'm only looking for 3 people right now. This is high touch. It's going to take a lot of my time personally. I want to make sure I'm taking care of the apprentices I'm working with. This will fill up. I'm going to close it down. And I don't let multiple people in the same market. So it's first come, first serve on the markets. I'm not guaranteeing any results. Your success is entirely up to you. You could lose all your money. I could, give you a bunch of leads and you don't do anything with them. I'm not going to babysit you and force you. So, okay. Now, if you're broke, it's not for you. I will not finance it. You can't pay me out of the deals. I have a ton of free resources on my YouTube, on my podcast. This class right here is good. So what happens after the 6 months? You can still use the systems and the processes that I've built. It's 100% yours. I'll still partner with you if you want, as long as you want to. You can start doing deals on your own, keeping 100% of it yourself. I want you to take what you've learned and scale your business into multiple markets. And you can still use my Rolodex of resources and contacts if you want. Okay. Now, I have an application. I want you to tell me a little bit about you. Why should I pick you? Tell me if you have any our real estate investing experience or not. Okay, I meant to say, it's okay if you're a beginner. I want to know what kind of questions that you have for me. Now, here's the link to apply if you're interested. joemccall.com/app. joemccall.com/app. When you go there, it'll take you to a page like this. Now, I'm going to put this link in the Zoom chat right now for you guys. I'll also put it in the Zoom and in the YouTube. So go to joemccall.com/app. Apprentice program application. Yes, good question. So hopefully that link works. You might have to copy and paste it. joemccall.com/app. When you go there, oh my gosh, what happened here? And I think I have it right here. Look at that. There it is. joemccall.com/app. When you go there, I'm going to personally look at the applications and I will personally respond to everybody on there and let you know. And if I feel like you might be a good fit, I'm going to send you a link. I'll schedule a time to get on the phone with you and me. I'll answer any questions you might have. Pamela's asking, will you still be a private money lender on future deals? Yes. Sure. I'll partner with you as long as you want, right? Now, when I lend money, I don't just lend for interest rates, points. I do want to share the profits, but that's not a problem. Okay. Any other questions about that? joemccall.com/app. I know I went way late. This has been 2 hours. This has been a long class. I hope this has been helpful. Has this been helpful for you? Did you learn something? We still got a ton of people on Zoom. A lot of people still on YouTube. That's awesome. All right. I don't see any more questions coming in. Okay. Good questions from Pamela. 5 figures like 10K or like 99,000? No. It depends. I have to be vague on it. It's going to be between 10 to 20 grand. It depends on how much you want me to do how much marketing you actually want. Make sense? Yeah. So it's on the low 5 figures. Should I say that? Now, the reason I'm vague about it is because let's get on the phone. Let's talk about it. You might be like, well, Joe, I already got a bunch of leads. I just want some one-on-one coaching and help. I just want to partner. So we'll structure it different ways. You might say, hey, I don't want 90 leads in 90 days. I want 180 leads in 90 days. Or you might be like, I only want 50. So I don't know. It just kind of depends. Let's talk about it. But you get that application, you get the deposit back out of the profits. We only split the profits after you get your deposit back. I think it's really, really fair. Why would I do this? Again, I want to do more deals. After you get your deposit back, we'll split the profits on the deals. Yeah. But I charge this deposit because I know I've got to know you have skin in the game. I don't want to be doing all of this work and then you quit and I'm left holding the bag. Okay? I'm paying out of that deposit. I'm paying for all your marketing for 3 months and Freedom Soft. Thank you, George, who says it's very fair. And Pamela, who says that makes sense. And that's the only membership that's ever offered money back. And I am buying the property. This is a great point. This is important because sometimes when you're doing wholesaling, it's really hard to list the property on the MLS when you don't own it yet. So let's just cut to the chase. Let's cut out all that BS. Let's just close on that deal. Let's buy it and then turn around and sell it. You make more money that way. You sell it faster that way. It's just easier. Let's just buy it. All right, I don't see any more questions. Let's wrap this up. Appreciate you guys very much. Trying to get this centered. There it is. All right, joemccall.com/app. I will see you guys later. Take care. Have a good night. Bye-bye.